Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Congratulations, everyone! It's Deep Dive Zone, a Sonic review series for fans of all shapes and sizes. And tonight, we are reaching our 50th episode. And what a perfect set of comic books to do that. This week encapsulates almost everything good and bad about Archie Sonic to me.
Yeah, I suppose that's fairly right.
We are starting off here with... You know, every time Penders does something kind of absurd in these comics, I say, this is one of the most infamous things that Penders has ever done. This is still up there, even by that standard. We are looking at Knuckles number 13 here, and that guy's dead.
Yeah, the cover really says it all.
It really does. You've got the super dramatic death of some dude with Charmy there, and then you just got buy Sonic comics in the background, like, because you've always got to throw in those gags at the worst times.
Yeah, man, that is a horrible time to throw in the buy Sonic comics.
It's also funny because it's like this is still a very well composed cover. You know, it's still Spazion.
It is, but like, holy crap!
Yeah,
it's emblematic, as you were saying.
Yes, and this story, the story is even more friggin' wild. It is The Unsuspecting, written as usual by Penders and drawn by Gallen. When Charmy's friend Mellow B mysteriously dies from an unknown poison, the Chaotix investigate Happy Land Amusement Park, formerly owned by Renfield T. Rodent, a collaborator for Robotnik.
Yeah, so you didn't mention the fact that the story has been stolen by a new protagonist. No, I'm not talking about the Chaotix. I'm talking about Harry the Dingo.
The best character in this trilogy.
Harry the cab driver is like a point of view character for a lot of this story.
Yeah. And a lot of the time he ends up just kind of being there. He isn't there because he's supposed to be there. He's just there because he happens to be there.
Yeah, he's not really participatory. He's just observant.
He gets to be a normal dude that suddenly sees all this chaos and reacts like anyone would, not having seen everything that's led up to this.
That's definitely true.
Well, we open on him finding Charmy and, you know, this other bee guy who basically just looks like Charmy with a different outfit, of course, in an alleyway, and I guess he's, like, having a seizure. He's at least collapsed, but he's a cab driver, so naturally he drives them to the hospital, where they rush him to the emergency room. The other Chaotix show up, and then he's dead.
Yeah, just suddenly.
Yep, a random character we didn't know anything about is now dead. Oh no.
Yeah. It feels weird because it's like they want us to care, but my God, it's kind of hard to, other than like care beyond the fact that it's silly.
Well, it's a character that's just being introduced. He's showing up to die, and you know, it's like you can theoretically have that have an emotional impact by how it affects the characters that you care about. The problem is, I do not care about the Chaotix in this story. I care about the Sonic characters in Sonic material, but these guys have not been anything other than background dudes up to this point.
I'm guessing that's also why they were why they were trying to give them, you know, the front and center view for the story. But it feels weird to do that, but still put it under the Knuckles moniker. Like, why not just do a Chaotix miniseries?
That would have been so rad, but I think they probably wouldn't like get clearance for that because it probably wouldn't sell great.
I guess
they're not popular enough because they haven't done anything.
Fair, but like it ends up making it feel less important overall as character building.
Well, also just doing it backwards. You understand more about who this character is after they're already dead, which is not inherently bad, but they're not anything super special.
Yeah, they're just one of Charmy's close friends. That's really all they are.
This is also the arc that explains that Charmy can just change his size at will.
Yep, because Vector didn't recognize Charmy when he's at a normal size.
You know, sometimes these comics don't do a bad job, or they at least do an entertaining, I mean, I guess this is entertaining, job of explaining things but this is pretty weak, I have to say.
It really is. It's just, oh, I can change my size. No explanation beyond that.
They shouldn't have even mentioned it, just retcon it.
Exactly.
He's just one size, and
Right.
about what isn't unmemorable is my boy Harry is getting beat up this whole time. He's like, oh shoot, wait a minute, I'm not the main character. I don't want to be involved in this, but by happenstance, he's still here.
Right.
He's doing a lot of the emotional heavy lifting for someone he just met.
Yeah, he even makes sure Charmy's gonna be okay before he says he's gonna leave.
Yeah, I reiterate that he totally seems like he's supposed to kind of ramp things up a little bit, react as
Mhm.
someone would who isn't numb to all this madness.
Right.
Because in fairness, if you did meet someone on the streets and then that you rushed to the hospital and they died, yeah, that would be kind of dramatic.
Sure.
Sadly, the reason for him dying is questionable.
Oh boy.
We get to see a little bit of Renfield T. Rodent here, who is just still out and about, I guess. I guess he got out of prison and immediately launched this other different scheme.
I was waiting for the explanation. There is no explanation.
Yeah, it just kind of just left up to our assumption that he got out of prison somehow.
We already knew that, to be fair, because we saw he was roaming around on the island
That's
a few arcs
true.
ago.
That is
But
true.
I would expect when he got the spotlight again, they would say something, but there's nothing at all.
Well, here
I don't know.
he is shown working with Downtown Ebony Hair.
It's bootleg Oswald.
Oh, no,
I
not really.
I mean, he is a rabbit.
in the case that he's a black and white rabbit.
Okay,
See, but-
I guess.
But here's the thing: the fact that he is a black rabbit named fucking Ebony and a drug dealer that resembles this like pimp stereotype. This is like Reagan era racism.
I mean, yeah. I can't say I'm that surprised by it also, which is disappointing, but
Yeah, I don't have any comments other than that doesn't look good. But
I'd like to make a quick correction that he's not actually working with Renfield yet.
that is a question. How was he looking at Renfield if they weren't having like a video call? Why
they
does he
both
have
got
this
screens. But
yeah, but why does he have this up close camera angle of Renfield?
It's the classic. The villain gets cameras everywhere just because.
I mean, yeah,
no explanations. Don't think about it.
I've had this question about Star Trek plenty of times, so why should I question it here?
listen, if you go find a drug dealer on a street, I guarantee that they have cameras on all their clients at all times. They have just giant security hubs because none of them are ever struggling financially.
All right.
Anyway, Charmy
Okay,
explains to everybody else that they were at exactly the amusement park that Renfield set up, but just assumed it was safe, I suppose.
Well, they were like, well, it reopened, so I guess it's fine.
Yeah. Maybe they assume it's under new management.
They say as much.
Well, because you'd think it would be, because you'd think the other guy would be in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like the only thing close to a mention of the fact that Renfield's done this before. After this, they
Right.
just completely ignore it pretty much. Yeah,
Well, Remington tells us that, and I want to be clear here, we're calling this the drug arc. At no point does the word drug appear in this comic. Instead,
That
they
is
just
true.
say poison, and he says that this was lemon sundrop dandelion poison. And gee, I wonder what
I
those
wonder.
words starting with L, S, and D refer to.
well, I mean, drugs are a poison when taken
That's
in
true.
lethal quantities, so that's not inaccurate.
So it's like, oh, this has been showing up in somewhere that young people congregate, but we're just on suspicion that it's the amusement park.
Obligatory scene shows up next where they're like, oh shoot, these are the Knuckles comics. I mean, we're pretending they are at least. Now we gotta have a bit of Knuckles,
Yeah, we gotta show Knuckles wandering around a desert for no
Yeah.
discernible reason.
and then immediately back to the plot.
Yeah,
also,
so
I'd like
he
to
got.
point out also, Locke is apparently spying on Sonic now also.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
he is in
he's
that
on
panel.
one of the screens. That doesn't surprise me.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me that much, but I'd like to. I guess we know how Locke is spying on Knuckles. This is some fucking science satellite bullshit.
Maybe he's got like the little spy drone like flies like the Red Ribbon Army have, but
Oh, that actually would make sense.
I do like this scene just in that it feels completely needless. Knuckles' entire plotline in these
Yeah.
comics, in this arc, is basically just getting ambushed by random stuff on his way home. Because he got that guiding star gem at the end of last arc, which you'd think would just,
That's
like,
right.
teleport him back home, and in fact, does do that later in the series, but they just had to make up this reason for him to not be back yet.
So really, all this is just he was given what we thought was a teleportation device, and it's really just a GPS
I suppose.
I mean,
or a compass.
I didn't immediately assume it was a teleport.
That I don't know.
It's like guiding star gem, not
Well, it
like
opened a
bring you
big green
home.
something before, so I don't know. We thought that was a portal? Maybe, I don't know.
yeah, I figured it was just gonna, he's just gonna suddenly be back in Echidnopolis or whatever desert he likes to hang out in, like Piccolo.
Right.
In any case, cab guy, Harry, drives everyone to the amusement park to investigate, which is weird because you'd think they just take, like, a cop car because they're working with the cops.
Maybe the cops paid Harry to just stick around.
That's a better
They
explanation than the one we actually, or than the nothing we actually get.
Yeah, it's really just like, as I said, it's just like he just happens to end up being there and gets involved in the plot multiple times.
Yeah.
He's surprisingly chill with all this as well.
He really is. I think it's just because he developed some kind of soft spot for Charmy. Because, I mean, look at that face. How could you say no to it?
Well, I failed to mention this earlier because I was too busy talking about how he's a great character, but Harry also has a purpose here because it shows that some of the dingoes are trying to like actually integrate into society.
Right.
They're not all like Striker and being grumble, grumble, grumble.
Right. They're
So-
actually trying to assimilate themselves.
I think Dingo. I think Harry is just trying to be an upstanding citizen, and probably
Yeah.
I would hope the Chaotix paid him too. So there's that.
I would hope someone paid him, like the government even.
Yeah, that's the dark side of this, is that maybe he's just being intimidated by the Echidnopolis police to do all this.
Yeah.
It doesn't come off that way.
No, it doesn't.
No.
But, if we want to talk about completely nonsensical actions, let's talk about the amusement park scene here. Okay, so everybody knows that they're under suspicion at this park, that maybe the food's laced with drugs. They know that the bee kid got poisoned after visiting this park. They are here on investigation for the food being laced with drugs, right?
Right.
Why do they all just decide to eat the food?
To be fair, everyone but Julie Sue. Because she's actually intelligent, apparently.
Yeah.
She's the
Oh.
only responsible one.
So let me just say that despite the fact that the Chaotix have the spotlight on them, they're really not the heroes in this story. They're kind of just the sidekicks to the police. What's his face?
Remington?
Remington, that's his
Remington,
name.
yeah.
The Remington, Julie Sue, and of course Harry, because they act like dumb sidekicks. They're like, oh, let's just eat the food. Chomp, get poisoned.
And it's laced
Yeah.
with fucking drugs, you idiots!
Yeah. It's just like the one character that the writers for some reason still want us to be suspicious of, or at least keep writing Vector as being suspicious of, is the only one intelligent enough not to eat the strange food. Everyone else is just like, yeah, let's fucking gobble this shit down.
Yeah. This issue ends with, like, Charmy saying, "Take a journey to the center of my mind," to Julie Sue, because he's tripping out or whatever. That does not come up at all. That's literally just for the audience's sake.
This is one hell of a final page.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it continues into Knuckles number 14, where everybody's got guns.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the cover suddenly becomes even more super serious because guns now.
I don't even know how these are supposed to work, because, like, Julie Sue is loading, like, a hollow shell into what kind of looks like a sci-fi shotgun, but the barrels are, like, they're teeny tiny on the end. They get thinner.
It's a kind of choke if it's supposed to be a shotgun. It's meant to prevent pellet spread.
Huh, okay. Well, that's better than the nothing I had to explain it.
Yeah, my ridiculous amount of knowledge about firearms saves me again.
This is another one of those lines everywhere covers,
It is.
because, like, the confetti on the ground means that there's an absurd amount of noise, and the, like, wire fencing or whatever on the roller coaster in the back, it made me not even realize at first that there's two guys that Remington is looking at here, and I have no idea who they are.
Well, one's clearly a stand user, and the other one, I guess, is the stand.
I think they're meant to be like the red rat luchador guy, and maybe Ebony here, maybe one of the other. I have no idea.
They're
I can't
both
tell.
miscolored. I think the colors are throwing it off. But yes, I was going to bring up the one that was definitely the red. The other one, who knows? But I don't think they're supposed to be green.
Yeah,
The green one kind of looks like the Grinch.
he does. Well, the story in this part is a tenuous grip on reality. Charmy dreams of his exile from B royalty, while he and the rest of the Chaotix recover from the drugs, and Julie Sue and Remington track the operation back to downtown Ebony Hair.
Names are hard.
It's such a bad name.
It
Like
really
even if the stereotype isn't there, it's just like what kind of name is that?
it's just a bad name. Like,
So yes, we start off with Charmy's dream where we see that his dad is just a bee version of Locke. It's just a bee that looks like him with a beard.
So, but yes, suddenly Charmy lore. I didn't expect this, but I approve. They're at least trying with one of the Chaotix here.
Yeah. That's appreciated.
Yeah, I would like to point out that you mentioned they were exiled. That's not true. They just ran away. That's not quite the same thing.
You can exile yourself.
It's a form of self-exile.
Okay.
I want to call attention to this. The red part of Charmy's head, those aren't his eyebrows, guys. He's wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
But they just draw that as if that's part of the beings.
It's like Spider-Man's. It's like the eyes on Spider-Man's mask.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway. So everyone is now in the hospital from their incredibly idiotic decision.
I'd like to point out both of these echidnas have incredible hair.
Yes, we have the doctor with his shitty toupee, and the nurse with it almost looks more like she's got bushy eyebrows.
Massive blonde eyebrows.
So, yeah, I mean, it's been brought up before, but honestly, a lot of the Echidna side characters have something entertaining about their design.
They really do.
In my opinion. I like that the doctor here is like, let's do a complete transfusion immediately, if not sooner.
Sooner than immediately.
It should have been done an hour ago.
Quality dialogue. So part of this is that it seems like when they're talking about some of this, part of the mystery, so to speak, is supposed to be that, only certain people are seemingly affected by the drugs, which, includes the Chaotix, of course.
Sure.
But we already had the information that it came from the amusement park and that it was being spread through the food.
Right.
So it makes them look like complete idiots to get dosed anyway, even if the people around them were not showing any immediate reactions.
It's funny, you're bringing this up again, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was a part of the plot where some people are affected and others aren't. I forgot because this doesn't really get concluded ever. I kind of mention it here, and I don't think it comes up again.
Right.
Yeah. They do confirm part of what's going on, which is, Renfield and the drug dealer are talking in the next scene, and it seems to be... So if I'm understanding this correctly, the plan was to lace amusement park food with drugs to get people addicted so that they come back and buy more food at the amusement park. But Renfield, for whatever reason, is just shoving way too much of it in there, and the dealer's like, you're doing too much of this, you idiot. And he's like, no, I don't care. Like, what the hell are you doing? What's the point?
Renfield doesn't seem like he's the smartest, I'm gonna be honest.
Renfield, yeah, he doesn't come off that way, certainly. He's seen very easily played by Robotnik. And now here, I will point out that we didn't mention it, but there was a scene at the end of the last story where he does say, who are you, to Ebony. So he didn't know him. I don't know. It's possible he got it anonymously, and so maybe that's how Ebony does know Renfield. I don't know.
Yeah, I would assume he's probably going through a third party.
But either way, it seems like Renfield just somehow got his hands on this stuff, and then he's like, oh, great, and he just doesn't know how to use it at all. And then basically, he's like, wait, no, I'm running the show now. Don't tell me how to do it. He's basically being... He's just throwing a fit when someone tells him, oh, you're not doing it right. And he just like, no, it's my way or no way, sort of a thing. And that is encapsulated beautifully because last comic we were introduced to Blackjack. We didn't talk about him because he's just a big old dog that's buff. But then we get introduced to Ripper, which is a big buff rat, and I'm like, oh heck yeah, let's have this big buff fight. But then Ripper goes down in 2 seconds. Disappointed.
They have like a Pokemon battle between their bodyguards. And I guess Blackjack has the type matchup, but
Apparently so.
it's weird in a scenario like this for me to be taking the drug dealer's side, because he does grab Renfield and say, "You're being a dumbass. What are you talking about?" So it's like, if you're gonna lace food with drugs, don't put so much in that it kills your customers. It's weird that I should have to explain that. It's
Well, so you summed it up pretty well. I was about to mention that, yeah, when you take the side of the drug dealer, that's only because it's common sense, like you said, to not kill your customers. He's actually doing it to be even more malicious, in a sense, because you get more money out of people, obviously, that way. That's his only motivation. But yes, it is funny that it comes off that way.
Well, and also, like, I don't know, if I heard that something was killing people when they were eating it, that would not last long as a successful business venture. I think the only reason he's succeeding is because people don't know yet.
I guess so.
That's what I'm saying. It's because it doesn't make any sense business-wise. But
yeah.
For some reason, it worked really fine for Renfield for a while, though. I don't really understand. More Charmy flashback after this.
Yes, we get this scene of him, like, rejecting a girl and then getting smashed into the butt by his friend Mello, which I would call a very unsubtle bit of imagery if I didn't know these comics were too hetero for their own good. There's nothing all that meaningful here, though, other than him meeting Mighty for the first time for some reason. Speaking of Mighty, I love the scene where Mighty finally wakes up and just decides to lift up the bed because he's still tripping.
This is the first part of a hilarious saga where all the Chaotix wake up and freak out the medical staff.
They're just trying to do their jobs.
But this is the part I was going to get to. So Renfield gets tossed aside by Ebony, and he's like, go fix this because the police are investigating you, you idiot. You got to be more sneaky. And then Renfield, because he just is able to bumble his way around and be successful, just walks out. Is like, oh, hey, let me explain everything, and does a pretty good job. Somehow the police is like, well, okay, but also doesn't recognize him. Wouldn't a former criminal be like listed or something?
This is like the LA Noire like facial expressions thing where you're supposed to know that they look like they're lying, and you press X to doubt. He just looks so obviously suspicious at all times. And the only thing that saves him is the recurring issue of not everybody is showing signs of poisoning, which is a thing that never gets resolved or explained. So it's like, ah!
Oh, yeah, I guess it did come up again here. So, yeah, you're right about his expressions, but this comes off to me as the trope of you play up the expressions, and in universe, he's not actually looking that way. That is just a manifestation of how he's feeling on the inside, basically. At least that's the way I interpret it.
I guess, but his only defense is, do you see anyone tripping out or overdosing here? And they're like, no, I guess that means that he's innocent or whatever. But that's exactly what got their other friends to overdose.
Oh, no, the defense is just as bad. I agree, but I'm saying it's not 100% obvious. Technically, what he's saying is, you guys don't have any dirt on me yet. Keep looking, I guess.
I suppose.
I guess.
Well, Knuckles fights some bears, so that's all right.
Yeah, he's just being chased by a biker gang for reasons.
Oh yeah, huh?
I don't have any comments on that. It's just, that's odd.
There's nothing really to say.
Not relevant.
Chased by some bikers, spins around, and then we're back with Vector.
Locke is like, whoa, what power? And then Saber is like, yeah, maybe you should stop hiding and just go train him like normally. It's just funny.
They really, really like to tell Locke that he's doing things wrong, only to not change anything.
Yep.
Yeah, and Locke's only excuse is Archimedes will show him how.
Which he doesn't!
No, he doesn't!
But yes,
can be as bad as Locke.
So we got that scene with Mighty doing his weird Bugs Bunny routine earlier, and then this, this poor nurse, she got freaked out by Mighty before, and now Vector wakes up and yawns, and she thinks he's going to eat her?
I mean, to be fair, she's only treated echidnas before.
Although, strangely, Vector's not being affected by the drugs very much. He seems pretty normal. She just misunderstands because he yawns.
I mean, maybe
Yeah.
Vector already has experience with drugs.
Ooh, well,
Moving along, we get
Spicy takes.
we get an interesting bit of intrigue here with Harry and Stryker, who shows up and is basically like, I don't like how cozy you are getting with the people here. You're still a soldier, and you know it. I have my eye on you.
Mhm.
yeah,
Which- Sorry.
he's
go.
basically telling him you gotta be ready, so we're gonna have another dingo uprising or whatever, because that's such a not terrible idea right now. Your people are in such a good place that you can launch an attack on the echidnas that they have to share a city with.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, of course. Stryker is being an idiot here, but I'm glad that some people realize that he's being an idiot. I mean, I keep seeing bits and pieces, and I'm getting more and more intrigued about how this subplot is going to pan out. I may be disappointed because these are Archie comics, but hopefully not.
Yeah, so we cut back to Remington and Julie Sue, and I'm trying to figure out. So I think their plan is for Julie to act as bait by claiming she wants in on the drug operation and sending her to meet with the dealer. I couldn't tell what's going on because it cuts from them working this plan out to Julie Sue already in the meeting place and blindfolded, with seemingly no backup waiting to support her when things inevitably go south. And the dealer and Julie Sue exchange exactly 2 lines of dialogue before he immediately decides to throw her off the roof of a building.
So I was looking closer at it. I think you're right that is what Julie was supposed to be doing, and yeah, he just. I don't know. I think he's got a good read on when someone is really trying to do business and when someone's an undercover cop, because you have to be in his position. So I think he just makes the call pretty quickly.
I suppose it would be nice to have something that actually, gave the identity away. I suppose, but that's our cliffhanger for the issue.
So Harry is once again helping Remington here, and I like that the reason he agreed to help was because the police are going to waive his parking tickets.
Yeah, so that means that there is at least some incentive for him to be here. So let's go ahead and move on here to Knuckles number 15 with a cover that does not make any sense. First off, Julie Sue appears twice on this cover. Once on the left, which is the second part of the triptych, but then also in the middle she's got some flying bike thing. We have Vector emerging from a circus party tent, and he's got some kind of mesh wrapped around his waist. That's not his normal belt. We've got a big-ass Knuckles in the middle, who does not have that big a participation in this story. And in the background, we have a bunch of bees and Golden Hive Colony, which again, do not play a major part in this story.
I didn't mention this before, but I guess now it's pretty obvious. I don't like these triptych covers because when you put them together, it doesn't actually make a single scene, so you've defeated the whole point because the characters show up more than once.
Yeah.
And then they
They
really
also-
screwed it up because they show up more than once on the same single cover here.
It also, I think, is not actually a single drawing split into 3. I think they just did 3 drawings that look like they could fit together. I tried to fit together the one from the Enerjack arc, and it didn't really work.
But yes, you are right. It looks like Julie doesn't even mount a vehicle that looks anything like that. They're getting more and more blatant with their covers, I guess, being not at all what is supposed to be there. As you said, Knuckles, and the other ones he's like an outline or something. But in this one, he's actually there, even though he's not.
Hey, fun
Mhm.
fact.
Show up. They're not a whole army that's gonna attack and overthrow the gang or something.
Here's an expert bit of advice for these comic creators. If you want something cool for Spaziant to draw on the cover, have something cool happen in the story.
I literally could have picked a better scene. Just pick the fight scene in the drug plant that happens.
Yeah.
That would be a cool
Yeah,
part of the picture.
honestly.
Well, let's get into that. The story is picking up the pieces. The Chaotix, now recovered, confront and arrest Ebony Hare and the scientists engineering his drugs. Charmy decides from this experience that he is truly needed back home and decides to return to his life as Prince of Goldenhive. We start out on a first-person view from Charmy's perspective of him having surgery done on him.
Oh, that's what it is.
And I want to mention, The original release of this comic, because we still have the Archives remastering coloring, the original release of this comic had him spurting purple blood on the doctors in the third and fourth panels.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
That's why they're wiping him down, I guess.
Yes, it is.
They do that also to dab sweat off of their faces.
That's
That's
true,
what I
but
assumed it was.
like, what the hell?
So
But
wow.
yeah, why is Charmy having surgery? I must have missed something.
The drugs hit him harder. Maybe they just hit bees harder in general.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what they need to operate on. They don't say what they're doing surgery on.
Yeah, that's why I was confused what was going on.
Surgery equals you feel better. You just if you're sick, you just get surgery. That's
Yeah,
all
you know,
it-
you have the common cold, go get your stomach pumped.
Stomach
okay.
pumping isn't surgery.
That's a good point, it isn't.
So neither of you brought it up, so I'm gonna highlight the point that man, those are details that I didn't even think of. The thing that jumped out to me was the fact that they're really leaning into like Echidnopolis is a corrupt society, even though no one wants to admit it, because this doctor just super blatantly is like, oh, you know, there was this other patient of mine that was like, you know, but either way, they were like dying and they needed surgery, and I was like, oh, you don't have the money? Well, too bad. Go to a butcher or something.
Oh,
if you,
yeah.
if you want a free job. And I'm like, so I know corrupt healthcare systems and all that, but usually it's not that blatant. That's really extreme. Like,
I'm also
Who
very
are they
surprised
fooling?
that Kidnopolis doesn't have any kind of socialized health care.
I'm not. Are you kidding me? This place is a wreck.
It
I'm gonna
is,
be
but
honest.
I
Ken Penders
expected
writes
they would
from such
just-
an Americanized perspective
I
that I don't even know
guess.
if he was thinking about that when he wrote that.
I guess, because I would assume once a society gets advanced enough, that just becomes a basic thing that ends up happening eventually.
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't
but
know.
Echidnopolis is advanced in sort of a
A lowercase a advanced.
on a surface level. Like it looks all shiny and cool. Like their technology is
Fair enough.
technically advanced, but the actual way their society is structured is like the same way or worse
Fair enough.
than a lot of contemporary societies.
Fair enough.
So they're not advanced in the ways that mostly matter to their citizens.
Yeah,
I
but
guess.
even in countries without socialized medicine, I don't think the average doctor is going to be telling a funny story about denying someone treatment.
That's what I was saying. It's like, but yes, that's true.
Well, let's get past the very first page of the issue here, and well, frankly, we can get past the second and third page because it's just a big shot of Julie Sue falling.
I guess that does confirm something I was wondering if any other echidnas could glide.
I don't know why she
Uh.
can't exactly. Well, the answer is grapple guns are cooler. She loads a
That is
grappling
true.
hook into her shotgun.
You know, like you do.
She crashes through a window and onto the bed of Bimmy.
Yeah, Bimmy,
Bimmy.
It's Bimmy.
the most important character.
He's just some echidna dude with a beard, but Bimmy is a funny name, and his wife says it like 3 times. So
Some kid dude with a beard who sleeps through someone crashing through their window.
Yeah, I mean that's impressive in and of itself.
listen, he has a rough life. His job is 15-hour shifts.
Yeah, it's a job in Echidnopolis. Of course, it's
Fair,
rough.
fair, yeah.
This whole thing is like basically pointless. Like I guess the entire result of this operation by Julie Sue and Remington was that they learned who the bad guy is, but everything else
Yeah.
is just like she gets almost killed, she meets back up with Remington, and then they just go towards the place. And Ebony Hare is in cahoots with this factory, this, I don't know if it's like pharmaceutical, it's some kind of company because they have a plant and they have a logo, and it's called Axis. And spoiler alert, it is run by dingoes. Do you get the subtext here?
My God.
But they have a big plant where they make the drugs, apparently. SBO, Mighty, and Vector all get released from the hospital at the same time, even though Charmy's still in there for reasons unexplained. Again, maybe it's just bee physiology. So we finally get to see inside this, whatever this factory place is. I still don't really get it, but the lead science guy, this extremely red dingo, He talks like the entire plan is to just put drugs in everything on Angel Island. So basically the entire rest of this is just big action fighty fight plus guns.
Yeah, there's this really satisfying bit where so Blackjack has been shown to be this unstoppable beefy guy. He beats up obviously Ripper, he beats up Julie Sue, he beats up Remington. But then Mighty comes and is like, "Okay, now it's my turn." And then he just like whacks him. It's great.
Why did Mighty just do that in the first place? Why do you have to let everyone else get their asses beat?
He wasn't there.
He's not fast. It takes him 15 seconds to walk across, 5 feet.
Damn. All right.
Yeah, the thing that is sticking out to me is that they raid the base, they defeat Ebony Hare, they take the drugs out of the food. They don't arrest Renfield again!
I was gonna bring up that if you didn't. Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
It makes absolutely no sense. They wouldn't charge him for anything.
He is guilty of manslaughter!
Remington is like, I could always book you as an accessory. He is an accessory!
Yeah, he threatens it, but then he's like, well, I'm not actually going to do it for no apparent reason.
I don't even know if he's an accessory. It was kind of his plan.
It kind of was. There's no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, yeah, no, they arrest Ebony, they arrest all the scientists and the bodyguards and the hooker girl. I don't know what to call her. She just looks like a generic, like, sexy prostitute fox lady who just hangs on Benny's arm because he's a pimp.
He kind of looks like Sally.
Yeah, because writers are bad at differentiating characters. Or,
Fair.
I guess artists, not.
Fair enough.
I kept trying to think of a note to make on this character, but she has like no role in the entire story until this part where she just tries to run away. So it was appropriate to not mention her until this point. You're right. She's just there for the look.
She doesn't have a name, and is there a reason to arrest her? She's not really an accessory because she didn't participate in anything.
No, I'm guessing they're just bringing her in because she might have information.
I suppose. Alright, well, we finally get to see a little bit more Knuckles, but it's really just to show that, yes, all of that stuff was pointless because a portal just appears that will take him home when he says he wants to go home, which I thought is what we had at the end of last arc, but whatever.
Yeah, they just really had to have Knuckles do something.
Well, Charmy returns home all stitched up, whatever it was they did, for Mello's funeral. It's really weird that this story, bookended by this kid's death, has absolutely no focus on the kid in question.
Yeah, he's brought up, immediately killed, we get a little bit of backstory, and then there you go.
Well, so it's because Mello's entire purpose is simply to highlight Charmy, because we didn't know anything about their past, and then their friend shows up again, and then they die, and put them through this whole thing. And so Charmy realizes, oh shoot, I actually had a good thing going. I should go home again, basically. And then at the end here, he actually is crowned prince again, which really surprised me. So yeah, I guess they're actually they're kind of committing to doing something with his character.
I guess so.
Oh, you think so?
I was going to say I hope, because there's always a possibility they just drop this on the ground, whether intentionally or simply because they didn't think it would be popular or something. I don't know, but it's very weird. I guess I didn't give quite enough credit, now that I think about it, to the Chaotix' involvement, because I was like, oh, the Chaotix is relevant. But really, I actually meant that Vector, Espio, and Mighty are irrelevant. They do something with Charmy for some reason. It should have been Charmy on the cover.
Well, this should have been his story, since he was the one that had so much shit going on here. But Julie Sue and Remington are the ones who did all the work.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I guess in the central plot, he doesn't have all that much relevance. It's like,
well,
yeah,
and here's the thing:
affected his path, I guess.
He has relevance at the start and at the end, but this is it for Charmy. Is the thing. Oh? This is Charmy decides that he needs to be prince after all, and he is promptly written out of the series. This guy will not show up at all in the series for 59 issues of Sonic the Hedgehog, and even then it's not much, and he will not be a central part of any plot for 104 comics. And the point when that happens, it's not even being written by Penders. So he wanted nothing to do with this guy.
Really?
You know, I kind of suspected as much.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think this end title page really shows it all, because it says The Chaotix and positions Julie Sue and Remington in the middle and Charmy off to the side. Ken
Yeah.
Penders is slowly replacing the characters he doesn't like with the ones that,
that he made.
yeah.
Huh.
It's true.
Yeah, because I was wondering, why is Remington being considered part of the Chaotix? Like, shouldn't Knuckles be there because he's kind of part of the Chaotix?
Yeah.
Huh.
So that
okay.
is the drug arc, and what a confused but entertaining mess this was.
Yeah.
What was this about? Was it about drugs? Was it about Charmy dingoes? Maybe Echidnopolis being crap.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's all those things. These Knuckles comics are not always about Knuckles, but they are always about confusing relations between different characters and weird plot lines that show up and go away. You never know what's going to happen, but you better be paying attention because you never know what it might mean for the future.
I will say, if we have to have Ken's original Echidna characters here, I'm glad that it's Remington and Julie Sue, the two that I tolerate. So,
Yeah, they're not bad. They're pretty good.
Agreed.
well, that is it for Knuckles for tonight. Let's move on to Sonic with Sonic number 61. This is a cool looking cover, and it's another one that lies to you because,
Yeah.
oh boy.
This one especially is egregious because the art in this issue is kind of looks like a middle schooler drew it.
Okay, yeah. The artwork, that's like a given, though. This is an actual scene from the comic, though.
Yes, that is true. That is
It
true.
is, yeah. It's mostly just the art is just off.
Yeah, the story here is Outback Gut Check. Written by Gallagher, drawn by Harvo, Sonic and Tails arrive in Down Under to find the Down Under freedom fighters under attack by an army of platypuses. Platypi? It turns out that Duck Bill Platypus went rogue after the battle with Robotnik, and it's up to Sonic and Tails to figure out why. And yeah, this art is dog shit.
It really is. It
The
always feels
characters'
weird
proportions are
calling art
way
bad.
off, and they're just weirdly shaped. But the thing is that the inking is terrible. It's so messy and scratchy.
Yeah.
As for the events, we got Platypus to fight.
Oh boy, yes.
Yeah.
Back with the Down Under Freedom Fighters. They're my favorites.
Really want to push them. The only way it would be better if it was the 40 Fathoms Freedom Fighters.
Oh yeah, you're right. That was a missed opportunity. We could have gotten them again.
It could have gotten
because
both of them.
They were both introduced close to each other. So.
They were. That is a good point. We could
Yeah.
have gotten both sets of Freedom Fighters.
What a shame. What a shame. I will say, for some
only.
reason, so Walt Wallaby, leader of the Down Under Freedom Fighters, he is talking about, let's do this, let's do that. And then Sonic keeps, jumping in and interrupting him. For some reason, they're at each other's throats. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know if Sonic's ever met these guys, so maybe Sonic's just extremely possessive of being the leader of a freedom fighter group, even though that's still Sally's job. I want to highlight the art on page 3, where Sonic frees Wombat Stew and the ostrich guy whose name I don't remember, and he's drawn as arbitrarily gigantic because they've placed him behind Stew.
On that same page, they saved on coloring by just not coloring a lot of them in the middle for some reason.
They were running out of ink that day.
This seems like a rushed issue.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, the story goes that the Down Under gang held out their last stand during the Endgame arc, only for Duck Bill Platypus to randomly decide he was evil and lead an army of renegade platypuses on his own friends?
So, this isn't exactly a super intricate plot line, so I don't feel bad about spoiling details. Duck Bill is actually being manipulated. He didn't just turn evil for no reason. However, they don't say that the other platypi are controlled, so they just join him just because.
Strong, charismatic leader, he's got that power.
Apparently.
And yeah, basically this entire issue is just trying to get rid of that. It's a short enough story, so they're just kind of going down the river rapids, getting attacked again, and there's nothing all that interesting going on. It's like I've never had confidence in Gallagher's writing, but this issue feels particularly sparse.
I agree.
Yeah.
The most that they have is that they get to Bill's base and discover that he was hypnotized by the scant few remains of Crockbot.
That bastard robot keeps coming back.
Right? So I was like, whoa, what the heck? They brought back Crockbot? The story's finally getting interesting. And then Sonic disconnects him immediately.
Just unplugs him.
Sonic unplugs the USB cable.
Literally. It's so anticlimactic. Like, they drop a hint about
really
something
is.
ominous. Because he's like, doesn't matter anyway, for you've caught me, but soon the bunyip.
The bunyip, yes. So this was like the only idea that Gallagher ever had, was that he would have the Down Under Freedom Fighters and that he would base a bunch of stuff off of like Aboriginal lore and mythology, and I think they directly reference Aborigines a couple times in the dialogue. But A, why would they know about that in this post-apocalyptic world? And B, it goes nowhere. Maybe it goes somewhere actually in some backup story. Nothing interesting happens, I guarantee.
Yeah, I know they follow up on it in some degree, but yeah, no, nothing super fascinating. Which, I mean, did you really expect with the Down Under Freedom Fighters?
No. Here's something interesting in a bad way. Sonic and Tails leave for wherever, and Gallagher decides, for some reason, to ship tease between Barbie Koala, an adult woman, and Tails, a 10-year-old.
They've been doing that. This isn't the first time.
Yes, yeah.
This is where it's most egregious, though, and it's like, oh, that's bad. Please don't do that. And
I mean,
I do
yeah,
appreciate that one of the first things that like Flynn ever responded to from any fan was, "Yeah, we squashed that immediately. That shouldn't be a thing."
Good.
Somebody had some sense with their ships.
Yeah, goddamn. It's just wrong. Also, I have a feeling
it's worse than friggin' Sally and Jeffrey, because
oh yeah.
I guess.
I don't know if worse is the right word. It's just about the same badness.
okay. When I say worse, I mean that at least Sally is like presented as mostly an adult in control of her actions.
Sure.
Tails is definitely a child.
Yeah.
But yeah. Nothing good there. Yeah. Bad story.
Yes, Ingrid. Yes, you put
This
it
story feels
elegantly.
like this story feels like one of those like what are we calling them? The backup stories?
Bank stories.
Big stories.
Yeah. Which is funny, because the actual backup stories of this issue are better. Not great, but better.
Yeah.
I guess that's true by comparison.
Yes, because we also get Total Turbulence, written by Ballers and drawn by Stephen Butler, making his first proper appearance. In their search for Naugus, Sonic and Tails encounter dangerous weather during their flight.
Oh wow! Look, it's Naugus. The plot is happening. Oh wait, this story's only
Finally.
4 pages long.
It's
Hey,
scary clouds.
at least we get to see Nagus for a little while.
Yes.
I don't understand why writers do this in stories. This isn't a problem exclusive to the Archie Sonic the Hedgehog comics.
Oh yeah,
Like,
no.
where you do plot lines, it's like there's some sort of central focus. The heroes are looking after something or whatever, and then they just get sidetracked by all sorts of random nonsense that doesn't build in any meaningful way. It just kind of happens just to be there.
Yeah.
But they're being so blatant about it. It's like, oh, did you guys think we forgot about the plot? Nope, it's still here. Let me just dangle it right in front of you for 4 pages.
They should have had
We'll
Madame
get to that
Kovarian show up.
eventually, but then they don't. In this issue, they just do anything with it. It's frustrating. I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That said, I do actually find this to be a pretty hilarious 4 pages. Naugus is like, oh, I'm going to turn into an angry cloud. And then Sonic and Tails defeat him without even knowing.
Good main villain replacement you've got there, guys. Really knocked it out of the park with that one. At least we've got Stephen Butler. His artwork is polished. It's detailed. He's going to get even better.
Yeah. Yeah, this story actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mostly just Cloud Nagus, though. He looks really rad.
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
But that's not the end of the issue, because we had a promise next time that next was Jeffrey.
That was not a
That's
promise,
true.
Devin. Devin, that was not a promise. That was a threat.
Yes, we have
Uh,
On His Majesty's Secret Service, which is a James Bond film, or Her
yes.
Majesty's, but
Well,
Part
yeah.
1, written by Penders and drawn by Art Mawhinney. Faced with the age of his senior members, Jeffrey assembles a new team to help him complete Black Ops for King Max.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Uh,
His team is too old.
so I didn't ask for a solo Jeffrey story.
I don't think anyone did.
I'd just like to say that.
I
Now
know
that
we
we
sure didn't.
have to deal with this, I guess it's technically better than it could have been,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's still not great in my opinion. It's, I guess, slightly more interesting than a lot of these end of issue short pieces of a story that Penders loves to write. I need to come up with a term for that, but it's still pretty pointless. He just kind of runs around and gathers people.
Yeah, he puts together a team of background characters, including Blue SBO, Valdez, I think is his name,
Yeah.
Wombat Stew from earlier in the issue, which implies to me that Down Under can't be so far away that Sonic and Tails aren't close to home, and Hershey gets to be a character, I guess.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to. I feel like they're trying to tease a relationship between these two.
That's interesting. I didn't see that, but maybe I just didn't notice. That's interesting. You were able to, though. You put it very well, Devin. A team of background characters. Um,
Yeah.
what is this
I-
comic's obsession with building teams of completely random characters? Like, you can do it once, and for a good reason, I should say, with the Freedom Fighters, because it's by necessity. They're the survivors. They have to work together in order to survive. But by choice, you don't just travel around the world being like, "Hey, kid, you want to be part of the Secret Service?" And then Stu is like, "Ah, heck yeah, that sounds rad, man." And Hershey, "Hey, are you bored doing your paperwork? Why don't you join the Secret Service?" And she's
Yeah.
like, "Ah, okay."
You
Valdez
generally
Is
need
the only
some
one
experience.
that makes sense because he can turn invisible. I'll give him
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hey, Hershey, are you still recovering from the abusive relationship you got out of? Please, hang around with this creep who regularly sexually assaults a teenager.
Oof.
Yeah, no, there's nothing great about this. It's
Yeah.
I have nothing to say. We're good. We get it.
We get a
It is.
tease at the end that we're gonna have even more completely out of the blue characters to join this team as you see a silhouette of a bomb.
Let's move on to a more fun issue. Let's talk about Sonic number 62.
It's a good cover.
It's a very generic cover, but it is nice.
Yeah, it is fun.
Well, yeah, it's a generic cover for a generic story. Putting it like it is. Thank you.
I kind of like this story. This is Icon, written by Ballers and drawn by Butler. Sonic and Tails crash land near Sandblast City, a desert town with a huge force field to protect it from the still hostile Robians outside. The citizens revere Sonic as a symbol of freedom, but Tails notices suspicious details about their behavior. Meanwhile, the prisoners of Devil's Gulag are suddenly released from containment. We've got a quality plane crash from Butler here at the start. I like this spread.
Yeah.
That's a really well drawn plane crash, which is a sentence I don't think I would have ever said normally.
Yeah, so we have Jack and his group of liberated Mobians who were inspired by Sonic's actions to just get out of Robotnik's control all on their own, which is neat.
Yes, Johnny Lightfoot with an eye patch.
Well, actually, if you look at Jack and his gang, they're all like edgy Looney Tunes. You can see a Roadrunner and a Wile E. Coyote and such.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Like, is anyone surprised that the random side characters aren't like super popular when they're all just jokes or something?
Yeah. But yeah, they help Sonic and Tails out. We get a little shot of Snively being made fun of by the other prisoners.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I said,
Yeah.
I do like this part of the issue. I appreciate how the the narration box is like escaping from the confines of this prison is near impossible, which is what Snively says in relation to the fact that it says it's impossible. I say these bars cannot keep me in. So I love that they use that word for direct opposite meanings in the same statement. It's great. But also, I find it hilarious that apparently Snively's been working out. He like threatens Drago. He's like, "Oh, if you were in here with me, I'd knock your lights out." That is just hilarious.
I love his little muscle bump on his arm.
Like, I don't know if he's just trash talking or not, but either way, it's funny that apparently he's done at least a little.
Yeah. So we make our way to Sandblast City, getting attacked by Robians along the way, and learning about Jack and his team, and how they were inspired by Sonic killing Robotnik, even though Sonic didn't do that.
Tails wonders why the roboticized Mobians here don't have their free will. I should think it obvious because they weren't very close to the Ultimate Annihilator, which, as they stated, was what freed the other ones.
Right.
Yeah. So we get to see Sandblast City. They've got a big statue of Sonic, but before that, we get this shot of a satellite turning on.
Yes, this will be important later. Remember this moment.
With a hand.
A
Yes.
mysterious hand. It's Dr. Claw. So Sonic and Tails are treated like royalty here. They're all super happy to have them there. But Snively, still hanging out in prison, still just doing whatever. Suddenly all the jail cells open. I assume that's the satellite that did that?
Yes, that's the idea.
Yeah.
I appreciate that Snively was looking kind of frustrated before, but he's happy again on this page. It makes me think that he was just trying to build up motivation or something, or maybe he was just angry at Drago. I'm glad that he was still vibing, just chilling in jail because it's his happy place, his plotting place. But yeah. Suddenly everyone escapes. Whoa, that's weird.
Which is funny because it's a little bit of symbolism because the jail cells all unlock at the exact moment that Tails realizes that his and Sonic's room is locked from the outside.
Oh my gosh, that is good. You are
Symbolism.
right.
Fancy symbolism.
He also sees Jack and his gang trying to cover up the plane, which is like,
Ooh,
Yeah, something strange is going on here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then a jailbreak and then a cliffhanger.
And then more skunk.
This
Yeah, I kind of wish
is-
this story had been finished in a full issue and they just shoved all the Jeffrey stuff to something else, but
I don't know why, but for some reason, yeah, the jailbreak scene, it sticks in my mind for some reason. I don't know. When I was reading these comics originally, I don't know. For some reason, it's just a memorable moment. It's like, oh, now we're suddenly doing this. Maybe it's because this is the beginning of things. Things are going to start to heat up a little bit. Like they're going to go through with this a little bit.
yeah. Which is
But
not
sure,
a-
yes, skunk.
Yeah, it's not a feeling you can describe about On His Majesty's Secret Service, Part 2, written by Penners and drawn by Mawini. After recruiting Heavy and Bomb, who have been absent for 62 issues, Jeffrey trains his new team on the basics of cooperation in dangerous situations. I guess they were just, sitting around in a closet?
So Heavy is like, we need a place to fit in or something. It's kind of a poor excuse. I don't understand how someone can try to kill you by blowing up in your face, and they're just like, "Oh, we didn't mean it." And then Jeffrey's like, "I'm sure you didn't, mate. Welcome to the team." What?
That's also an impressively non-lethal explosion.
Hey,
It
he's
doesn't
a
have a scratch
bomb.
on him.
He's a bomb. He doesn't know how to do anything else.
Right.
That's how he
I
communicates. That's how he shows affection. But yeah, they joined Jeffrey's new team, even though they were technically chaotics, but whatever. And
Oh yeah, I kind of forgot that.
Oh,
They
yeah.
should have showed up in the Knuckles arc. Gosh darn it!
they should have
sh-
done drugs too.
Yeah, they should have been the ones to figure out the drug problem.
Yeah, because they'd be the natural, obviously, because they're immune.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
That would have made sense. Then we could have just
Yeah,
had
huh.
it. We wouldn't needed Julie Subban to be there.
She wouldn't have to be thrown off of a roof.
Yeah. Anyway. Oh well. Missed opportunities. Instead, Heavy and Bomb are here because they didn't forget about those characters, I guess. But
Yeah.
just thrown in with the rest for no particular reason.
Kind of unceremoniously.
Yeah, and then the story kind of supports my viewpoint of these are a whole bunch of randos that don't know what they're doing because, like, Valdez and Hershey, like, immediately are like, oh, this was a terrible idea. Like, they have no mesh at all. Like, oh, yeah, sure, they'll be trained and made to work together or whatever. Oh, wow, so heartwarming, question mark? I don't know.
I mean, yes, teamwork, but no, in that Jeffrey gets all of these new friends and immediately throws them in a tank of water with a robot shark. It's like, I don't blame them for reacting poorly to that. He gave them no warning.
Yeah, no.
And
That's true.
after they get out, he basically just calls them weak. Like, I know he says teamwork, but he's just insulting.
Yeah, teamwork.
This is what Penders sees as, like, a caring mentor.
Bad story.
Yeah.
And that takes us to our final issue of the night, Sonic number 63. And I do like this cover, because that's actually descriptive.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And, as we've mentioned, this is a milestone episode for the review series. It's also a milestone in the comics, not for any numbered reason, but because Icon 2 Cult of Personality here is the first story to not have the Archives gradient shading on everything. It's just flat colors, or like the original colors, and it looks so much more readable.
Huh. You're right.
Oh, it does look better, yeah. I didn't notice that, but now that you're bringing it up.
Yeah. So, Ballers and Butler. Sonic and Tails realize that the Sandblasters love them too much to let them leave, and have to stage an escape. In the process, Sonic destroys the statue in the middle of the city, taking down the force field and exposing its people to the dangerous corrupted Robians. He and Tails leave, feeling pensive over the acts they committed. Meanwhile, due to his bragging, the prisoners of Devil's Gulag credit Snively for their escape and make him their leader.
Yeah, that's accurate. We have two uncomfortably designed characters here, waiting on Sonic. After we get, there's a page of Jailbreak or whatever, but we'll get more into that later.
Right.
Yes, we see one of Stephen Butler's trademarks in art, which is drawing big, hot, furry titties. But, yeah, Sonic and Tails being catered to by hot personas, and, Tails is getting more and more suspicious, and Sonic... Is it that Sonic knows what goes on, but he's not letting on about it? Isn't that what's going on?
They explain that later, but for now they have to make some drama, because Tails is like, oh yeah, everything's cool except with you. I expected more of Sonic, but he's just basking in the spotlight. I thought he was my friend. And he's just gonna be like, no, I knew that. Like, they build this up, but then they're just like, no, he knew. Like, why'd you do that? Why would you write that? That's stupid.
Well, I do like that they keep spending this time paralleling Sonic and Snively, because, Tails is, upset with Sonic for something that Sonic actually knows, whereas Snively thinks they're upset with him for something that they, know about, and they're like, Snively kept talking about how he was going to escape, and so all the prisoners think that he's the one who let them out.
So, on the one hand, this is incredibly improbable. Although, is it really improbable? Because as you saw, this is actually planned by something or someone. So maybe I can let that complaint slide a little bit. Point is, though, I do, regardless of circumstances that happened, he happened to be bragging, then he happened to be able to escape. I do like this end result. This is great. I love that finally, Snively got a little bit, but he felt like he didn't get all that much. The egg bots kind of got blown up pretty quickly. Now he's getting his moment, as everyone is like, yeah, let us make you our leader. That's a tongue twister. Anyway, so yes, this is great.
Well, and I think that this is a sign that Ballers is a better writer than he's been able to sort of show off, because we have Snively and Sonic both getting credit for things that they didn't do here. That's an actual theme, because Sonic's credited for killing Robotnik, Snively's credited for letting the prisoners out, even though he's the one who actually killed Robotnik.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that is good. Like, yes, I did not see that, but you are very right. Maybe you can make another part of this even better, because I would like to know why Jack Rabbit is like holding Sonic and Tails here. Does he like them so much that he's like, no, they have to stay here and help us? I don't understand his motivation.
I think that they're just incredibly, like, obsessed and possessive. Yeah, they just like, oh, we need you here. Maybe they need them here, but they don't really ask him to help, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like just a roundabout way. They're being so malicious about it. It just it's strange.
It does push Sonic to this, like mildly unconscionable thing. Because Sandblast City, it's like these are not the sole inhabitants, but Sonic and Tails have to get out of there, which means that Sonic has to destroy the force field around it, which, puts everybody in danger.
Yeah, and he has to
Mm.
say "Hasta la vista, Mista" as he blows up the statue.
Just in case you were worried that the writing was getting too good.
I would not have noticed that if you hadn't pointed it out. Characters don't
Yeah.
need catchphrases, people. But yes, I noticed just as much. Like that's pretty extreme. I mean, I know they're going after Naugus, but I mean, they're not exactly going super fast about it. Surely there was a better way to go about this, but I guess not.
I don't know. I mean, this is portrayed as a morally gray act in universe, so I guess they
Uh-huh.
want you to speculate. Maybe
I guess so.
these guys don't stay out of the series forever after this point, so they will bring it up again.
Mm.
Oh, good. I wasn't
Interesting.
sure.
Okay.
I suppose it's that they valued Sonic as a symbol rather than as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they escape, with cinematic parallels. It's like poetry; they rhyme. Of Snively and their gang escaping.
How did I not notice these things? Yes, you are so right. Yeah, they're literally right next to each other on that final page. And I like that Snively says, "Where are we going? To Robotropolis." Like
Yeah.
that's
I don't
not a
recognize
name. It's been called-
Mobotropolis.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I like that. I like that duology of stories. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say it ends on a strong note.
It's funny. When I was first reading them, I had trouble following what was going on, but we're talking about it now. It's not that hard to follow.
Part of it might be that Carl Ballers still likes his narration and dialogue boxes all over the place, so it's like visually it gets a bit cluttered.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Well, let's do our trademark end on a wet fart with On His Majesty's Secret Service Part 3.
This
Jeffrey
is just
tests-
the way these comics are written. Like, we're not doing this on purpose. It's just what we're forced into. This is what they thought would be a good ending note, apparently.
Yeah. Jeffrey tests his new recruits in a field exercise while Sally learns the depressing reality of trying to meaningfully affect change within a monarchy, unable to overrule Jeffrey or her father.
Well put.
Damn, yeah.
I don't think she's been stripped of her title like we heard last time, but Sally learns that Jeffrey apparently does have more authority than her despite her being royalty.
Well, it's because the king, it's from the king. It's a mission from the king, so
Right.
it becomes more important than whatever she says. I am actually a little surprised that Sally is surprised at this point, though. I feel like this has happened to her like 5-10 times now. So, like, she should be like, oh, wow, someone's overruling me. Okay. I mean, on the other hand, yeah, stay angry because this is stupid. And probably she's going to be powerless against it. But
we're
I can
getting-
hope.
We're getting like a relative metric for how much agency has been being taken from her character.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
And instead, we get displays of Heavy and Valdez's skill sets, I guess. But Hershey and Stu don't get anything because they're just a couple guys.
Hershey gets to realize that you could just use the elevator. So smart.
Mm-mm.
She makes a comment about like men not paying attention or something, and Jeffrey just goes off on her for this horrific misandry, which that shows that time really is a flat circle in terms of people getting upset about comments like that. But yeah, Sally, I wish that Sally got to be a part of the story anymore. Instead, her whole gimmick is just that she gets frustrated that she's not able to do anything.
Huh. Yeah, it is becoming painfully obvious that Penders hates this character and wishes she was dead.
That's I
Hmm.
mean that's probably why that is what he said when he tried to kill her off, is that she cramped Sonic's style, which you're not even using Sonic, but whatever.
Propaganda. It's an excuse.
And the sad thing is that Sally still has it good because Antoine Bunny and Rotor haven't even shown up most of these issues.
Yeah, they are really, all intents and purposes, just side characters.
Well, to be fair, Sonic and Tails are off, away, gone. Sally really doesn't have any reason to show up. Jeffrey shouldn't be showing up because the plot has been taken away. And I don't know if she has it better if she's getting this. But you're right. I guess she's there at least.
Well, and this is part of the insidious thing is that we're not going to see it for a couple episodes, but all this stuff with Jeffrey and his team is building to something that happens in the Knuckles comics.
Oh?
Uh-huh.
So it may as well
Okay,
not even be
interesting.
Sonic anymore. It's just everything's getting sidelined.
Huh.
But that is it for tonight. A very questionable series of comics. There was good stuff, there was bad stuff, and there was ugly stuff to spare.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who wins this one, Sonic or Knuckles?
Ooh, let me think
Ooh.
about this. I was not even thinking about that, to be honest.
Part of me wants to say they were both bad, and I don't really want to give a point.
There aren't extremes, really. Well, okay, let's see. So,
I guess the Knuckles comics were more entertaining to me.
Alright.
So
hmm.
I think I'm going to give it to Knuckles just because drugs.
Alright.
Yeah, there were a few good points here and there in the Sonic comics, but Knuckles was more consistent.
Yeah, the Sonic comics were very chaotic and too much Jeffrey.
Alright, well,
Yeah, that's a very good point. For that alone, I'm no longer uncertain. Knuckles wins.
Knuckles was just more entertaining overall. Like the Sonic comics were one just straight up bad issue and two kind of, I don't want to say nothing issues, but they
It's
weren't.
weird because I appreciate them more now that Devin pointed out all the parallels and stuff.
Yeah,
But-
I can agree with that.
So that's cool, but ideally something would be enjoyable to read through without having to dig into it.
Right.
Which the Knuckles, I think, was better at.
Yeah, you should be able to enjoy it even without having to look at it on a different level, basically.
Alright. well, that's going to be the first place where I differ, because I like the Icon story enough that I'm giving the point to Sonic. So, that's our first disagreeal on that. So that's cool.
Oh, I was wondering when that would
Hmm,
happen.
yeah.
But no, you guys' opinions are valid, obviously. As
No,
for all
no,
that,
yeah.
next time on Deep Dive Zone, more Echidna shit, I think? And
Yeah,
I
probably,
should
Yeah.
hope so.
probably something cool. Maybe we'll see Nagus. I don't know.
We're never
Oh,
getting
I don't
away
know
from
about that one.
We're never getting away from the stupid echidna shit.
Thank you all so much for watching. If you would like to contact us, I am showing all of the places you can on screen right now because it was too many to say last time. We hope you had a great time watching. Please share, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. And I hope you guys have a great night, and we will see you next week.